were you at after that, mate?
Yes, it's never that much fun when you turn up to the stadium and hear what you think is going to be your greatest advantage on the floor tonight with Jesse, that he's probably not going to play, but hope he's capable of playing on Saturday, and but backs are backs, and you never quite know. But credit to the group. Second and fourth quarters, we knew they were going to play guys heavy minutes, and we thought if we could just keep chipping away, that we'd be able to make some runs, and both those quarters we did. And defensively we made some coverage errors at different times, made some adjustments, but just putting our feet in the paint, and Finn was obviously one of his best games for us as a club, but just kept attacking the paint tonight, and they didn't have missing their rim protection, and so we were able to score the ball at 73% on twos, and that was the difference in the game tonight.
Just 1 point at three-quarter time. Give us an insight into, were you nervous? What were you thinking? Were you like, okay, I think we can pull away here? Where was your mind at?
No, I was more focused on, I think we'd pretty much shut down Shilly by that time. CG didn't have much left for us either. And then we had a little bit of foul trouble with Tice as well. So it was more how we're just going to manage people. I thought, through that patch with Tice being out, Milt was fantastic. He just, owned some of those moments and really took it on. And then, we asked more of Dash, we asked more of Tanner as well. So, Fab plays 31 minutes as well. So, I thought, the boys were great and found some three balls. Did a better job rebounding down the other end than we did in the first half, and that was important for us.
How long before the game did you find out that Jesse was going to be out?
Yeah, only about an hour before the game. So when he arrived here and he moved around a little bit, he just just had some sharp pains that didn't really allow him to kind of stand up straight. So I think we had he only missed one game this year, and that was the Sydney game, and Fab had a blinder in that one, and we were able to. It's great to be able to manage with guys down, but we're just going to try and as much. Hopefully, we got through with Shea, and hopefully he can give us a little bit more. We got through with CG. Hopefully, he gives a bit more. And can we get Jesse back, and can he give us something over in Perth?
Scott was talking about they threw the playbook out. Said we're only going to run 4 plays. Had to sell it to the team and get them to buy in. Did you notice that? Did you see? Like you obviously prepare for him to do something.
Yeah.
Did you see that it was completely different when it all sort of started to kick off?
Yeah, it was. He did some wild things tonight. There was a scrummage line there of 4 guys all setting screen on the foul line, and Tiger over on the side, and it's totally different. So, Scotty's great. He's just like, how are we going to rest our guys? We're going to play them 35+ minutes. All right, we're just going to get it over halfway. We spread our offense out, have 10 seconds rest, and then we'll start playing offense in the last kind of 12 seconds of the shot clock. And that's it was a dilemma to say, do we go pressure the basketball, or do we just kind of wait for them to get started with their offense and then really, defend after that? Was that allowing them to play this slower game and different things? So, really good battle and good strategy from him to make sure he was able to try and play those guys as many minutes as possible.
Finn, sort of midway through the first quarter, I think you had 70-3, and you'd really sort of worked hard to get inside and, take a bit of contact and finish. I was sort of just thinking, he's had the haircut, he's locked in, he's belt and body, he's getting physical. Like it felt to me that was aggressive as you've been for, I don't know if it's this season, but certainly for several weeks, that you're like really, we're going taking it on yourself to, I guess, influence the game.
Yeah, I don't know, just obviously found the rhythm and wanted to stay aggressive throughout the game, and had success kind of in the middle on ball with Tyson. He's been so deadly in there, and kind of feeding off him and Milt too. So playing off those guys a bit, and then just trying to be a little bit more poised and slow down sometimes. But yeah, just found the rhythm and keep attacking.
Is that by design? Like, was it any encouragement from Dean, or is it just how you felt?
I mean, he's always encouraging that sort of stuff. You know, he's such a amazing coach to play for as a player, because he just wants guys to be aggressive and keeps on guys about that, and one guy wants the best of his players, obviously. But yeah, he's always like that.
Been 100 games since you've scored 30 in a game. Did you know that I'm on tonight? Like, do you get that feeling? Like, how do you sort of how's the mindset around that?
You're not really thinking about that. It's just kind of in the moment and in the flow of the game. Trying to, I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. Just like in the moment, trying to play position by position. But you obviously know shots are falling. You obviously know things are going well, and feeling the flow of the game, the confidence, and so yes and no, I think. But it's not something consciously trying to chase or trying to care about at all.
Similar question to what I asked Dean. Is that three-quarter time? It's 1 point. Where was your mind? Were you like, okay, we can overrun them here? What were you like? Was there nerves? Where were you at?
No, I think we were great with just staying poised and being resilient. I didn't feel any stress or any nerves or anything like that. It's like Scott's team, Tassie's always like, they're going to try and slow it down, and slowest team in the league, and that can be like a tough team to kind of pull away from sometimes. You know, it's kind of always close, and we did that well in the end, but kind of knew regardless of guys out and things like that, it's going to be a bit of a sticky game always. And yeah, I think poise is probably the word, but resilient and through kind of that period.
Dean, it seemed like you've taken on Perth Wildcats next. It seemed like the Phoenix sort of exposed them a little bit. How much of that do you factor into Saturday night when you come up against them?
Yeah, obviously their ball pressure and the turnovers that they created were a big part of them establishing a lead in the first half. Have we got Shay and Tyson, Finn up the floor? We got some people that do it. We don't do it as relentless and as much as they do, but there's certainly some things there that you want to try and expose.
And Chris Golding, how's he cyst in the back of his knee? How's he feeling after the game, and will he be a chance limited or managing him, I suppose, for Saturday?
Yeah, he got through. Managed him for a few days, and it's just when it builds up with some fluid that it gets a little tougher for him to move the way he wants to move, and so hopefully we can improve that by the time we play on Saturday.
And Jesse, I know we touched him early, but is he a chair? Do you think he's going to be okay? What are your sort of chances for him for that game?
Yeah, we hope. The hope is that we get him on the flight tomorrow, and he can be with our physio, and we can get over there and treat him as best we can. Again, there's always, if he can't, not physically capable of getting on the plane, we'll try and find a flight that can suit him, and whether that be on game day or not. But yeah, the hope is that he sleeps well, he gets the right kind of medication tonight, and that we were able to get him on the flight.
Could you have risked him today, or was it?
No, he couldn't stand up, so yeah, he could have played. No, he couldn't play. Yep.
Actually, yeah, quickly. I'll start with you, Finn. Was it the haircut that did the trick? Did that give you a little bit of extra power tonight?
Nah.
Oh, earn it. I told him he looked tougher the other day when he walked in.
Maybe, I don't know.
How are you feeling, though, looking ahead to 48 hours' time and you head over to Perth and your season's on the line? How much confidence do you take out of getting this win now, heading into that game on Saturday, Finn?
Yeah, always confident, obviously. It's that time of year. Obviously, as a player, you love games where your back's up against the wall and it's all or nothing. So it brings out the best in yourself and your team. So it's exciting. I've always wanted to play. Everyone always wants to play at this time of year with a good team and the chance to progress. So, I can't wait.
It's a team you've got a hell of a history with, isn't it, Dean? I mean, you only go back a few weeks when you beat them by a point over there. Go back to that series you played against them. Around this time last year, you played grand final series against them. It's going to be another chapter. I mean, it's going to be disappointing for whoever loses. So this is another chapter in this rivalry that you've got with them.
Yeah, for whatever reason, we play pretty well in Perth and have for a number of years right now, and maybe it's it's a great venue to play in. Always a crowd that gets after the game, and JR's done a hell of a job with his team this year, and I know people have kind of talked about the Boomers and different things, but he did a hell of a job with that Boomers team and the way they played against Puerto Rico. Really proud of what he did with that group, and gave some of our guys, Tanner Krebs and Tommy Wilson, great confidence to come back, and did a great job of representing his country. So love battling. We don't have, to me, enough Aussie coaches in this league, and so to go up against him and his team, and we all look forward to it.
And just lastly, can you just reflect on what the JackJumpers did today? Have you ever come up against a team where you're pretty much playing against the starting five for the entire 40 minutes? It was remarkable that they were able to be so competitive. What did you think of what they did?
Yeah, I had a game playing the Wellington Saints, and I was coaching the New Zealand League, and we did something very similar to say we weren't going to start our offense until 12 seconds on the shot clock. We were way undermanned, and just finding strategies, and they came up with some to allow the guys to have enough energy to keep playing, and then then they just got to some areas where they thought they had advantage, and got to the foul line, but we did a good job of guarding the 3-point line. So if they could have made threes as well, that would have been a tough night, defending them. But again, Scotty and his staff are always going to throw different things at you, and respect what they did tonight.
Dean, can I just ask?
Thanks very much, guys.
Can I just ask about John? Obviously, do you think it was unfair that people saying, "Oh, well, he shouldn't have gone off with the Boomers"? Obviously, you're uniquely positioned, given that you've done some of those windows as well. Do you think it was unfair that that he sort of copped criticism because of the way that the team played?
Yeah, I love Mark Arena's comments to say, hey, people were selected to represent their country, and they're always going to back it. And so where I sit, with my Boomers hat on, to say that's unbelievable. And we had more guys in this window, that were playing playoffs than I think we've ever had. So yeah, we'll look at it as it moves forward, and. But yeah, it's hard to be away. I was away for the window, and we didn't come out of that window playing very well either. And so, I talked to him a little bit how I thought I could have done it better of coaching my team when I'm away, and we had those kind of conversations. So it's a challenging one. But again, we're about developing coaches as well, and so given the opportunity for assistant coaches to take the lead and do those things and develop Aussie coaches, I know Keegan and those guys over there, would have appreciated the opportunity that they got.